us,
Dan Schellenberg.
yeah, each of us is born with a whole self, a core being. And there are 5 elements of that core self. However, to access that core self, we have to get through a layer of family crud, family systems, of expectations, of roles. Rather than ourself, we play a role in our family system. But that family system sits inside the context of a social system with its mores and its expectations for how you dress, what you learn in school, how you behave, and intergenerational rules. Each of those now functions in each of these 4 quadrants. And this is a Gestalt model. So that each of us, when we talk about something physical, in America, we just think of it as physical. In the world and in the Vedic mind, right, it's also social. It has a social component, right? When you when you're an African and you're a man and you go to take a crap, right? You think of it as a physical thing, right? But it's very social as well because you're killing your children if you don't do it right in the right place. But it's also very spiritual for them. So if you're going to change community health, if you don't understand that we go to the bathroom is a spiritual thing, which it isn't for us. But if you understand that, then you can have a chance of people who are more holistic thinking of affecting change in a positive direction. And that requires, to affect that, requires that we have a mental component to everything that we do. That the mind is the screen through which we access information, in which we behave, in which we determine what we're going to do. We select out of, and it's a mental process. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk today, we're going to talk about landscape, we're going to talk about planning, we're going to talk about lots of things. But you're going to hear me try as much as possible to make sure that everything is holistically dealt with in terms of a gestalt. There's no just a physical life tractor. That's just, I'm not interested in just that. I'm very interested in that, but not just that. It's going to have
What's gestalt?
That's going to have a gestalt to it.
What's that?
A gestalt is a German word for psychology that says each part is actually a hologram of the whole. It's a hologram. Mm-hmm. That's the German word for hologram, is gestalt. That it's whole, and every part of it represents the whole. We can look at a part as if it's a part, but it's not. Mm-hmm. But it's a way we get to think about it. Right? Mm-hmm. And so we put the whole together. And when we talk about something physical, then we know that we're going to go around this circle. And we know that we're going to have to encounter thoughts from this little layer right here and thoughts from this layer.
System? And the system?
The family system.
Family system.
Yes. It's the program that you got by the time you're 6 years old. That program from your family tells you how to be an adult. And if you don't wake up and if you don't grow up past that, most men stay 6 years old emotionally and spiritually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's your program. You learn how to run that. You're damn good at it. And so you don't, that's what you practice. And you don't become more complex. You don't evolve as a human being into more mature thinking. You simply replicate your dad or your mom, depending on which way you're going to go. So this physical intervention here has this social dimension, has this family system that you have to get through, and then ultimately we want to be congruent with what we do here. This is what you're talking about with your ethics. What I do here in the physical dimension has to be congruent with who I know myself to be at the core. Mm-hmm. And so you find it difficult to find people who understand this well enough to make decisions congruently about this. Mm-hmm. And you're looking for people who are congruent with you, mm-hmm. who have rapport. Rapport is simply another term for congruence between us. I have integrity. I deal with my own self. I represent myself clearly. And you, I want to relate to you because you do the same thing. We don't necessarily come out at the same end. We don't think the same way. But we are both people of integrity. And that's who we want to relate to. Especially that's who we want to work with. because it's intense. But my diversity, my difference from you, allows me to add complexity and beauty and creativity to you.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what we're going for?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. So we're looking for people who have figured out this core self, their core states. You understand how they got fucked up in these relationships, the baggage that you carry that you have to get through, and then in each of these, we want to be as whole as we can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the thinking model of design. This is regenerative in terms of a human family system, and in terms of society. We have to be able to talk about these things in this community and when we sit down and talk. So we're going to begin with that. As much as possible, you'll hear me refer to the Gestalt.
Okay. Keep down the sergeant language a little bit, because you're going online, baby.
Sergeant? I don't know. All right, let's stop that. All right. So, Gestalt. I want to introduce you to
that's pure wisdom. Okay.
To what I do and who I am. I have been able to do this myself personally. I'm not sure I want that thing on. But
this is good.
I came back from Africa as a minister and as an educator. And
the irreverent,
and found the Society of the United States not ready for me. I didn't fit in too good, so I told you I took my own advice. I told my friends in Kenya, when you're out of money and you're out of time and you're out of everything, what you're going to do is you're going to deal with shit. You're going to have to deal with shit. That's all. Nobody wants that. There's tons of that around. Waste, garbage, shit, whatever you got. That's what we're going to build a society on. Mm-hmm. And so when I got here, I had to do that. And so one of the things that I ended up doing was taking these wastewater detention ponds. These are storm detention ponds in big urban areas. Mm-hmm. They're a mess. They're full of disease. They're filthy. They're polluted with so much nitrogen and phosphorus, and you can't even eat the fish in this. And this is in the middle of Houston. Mm-hmm. And we drained it, and it looks like that. Mm-hmm. And when we got done, that's what it looked like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. You can't even see all the water filtration stuff. We take out all the phosphorus. We take out all the nitrogen so that when it leaves, it's absolutely a pure stream of water. The children can play in this safely. It's shaded. It's beautiful. It's a jogging trails and beautiful dams and bridges and all that kind of stuff. And it transformed dramatically. And what it did was it raised the value of every one of these homes. And we got to go back in and train each of these families how to take care of their yards so they didn't pollute their own beautiful backyard. Mm. It's a transformation happening all over Houston today. That's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.